Well, I mean, Tesla really faced a severe threat of death due to the Model 3 production ramp. Essentially, the company was bleeding money like crazy, and just if we didn't solve these problems in a very short period of time, we would die. And it was extremely difficult to solve them.
How close to death did you come?
Within single-digit weeks.
22 hours a day, or like how many hours?
Just working, so 7 days a week, sleeping in the factory. I worked everywhere from I worked in the paint shop, general assembly, body shop.
Worry about yourself imploding, like it's just too much?
Absolutely. No one should put this many hours into work. This is not good. And people should not work this hard. They should not do this. It's very painful.
Painful in what sense?
It hurts my brain and my heart.
안녕하세요 여러분, 메이저 시프트입니다. 자, 오늘은 투자 이야기 말고 좀 특별한 영상을 만들어 봤습니다. 힘들고 지쳐서 포기를 고민하고 계시는 분들께 이 영상을 보내드립니다. 절대 포기하지 마세요.
In 2008, the rocket company is not going well. You've had 3 failures.
Great.
The car company is hemorrhaging money.
Yeah.
And the American economy has tanked in the worst recession since the Great Depression.
Right.
What was that year like for you?
And I'm getting divorced, by the way. To add to that, that was definitely the worst year of my life.
This is a tricky business.
Tricky. Yeah, I wish it wasn't so hard. When we'd call people and say, hey, would you like to invest? They'd be angry that we just called. I remember waking up the Sunday before Christmas in 2008 and thinking to myself, man, I never thought I was someone who could ever be capable of a nervous breakdown. But I felt this is the closest I've ever come. Because it seemed pretty dark.
When you had that 3rd failure in a row, did you think, I need to pack this in?
Never.
Why not?
I don't ever give up. I mean, I'd have to be dead or completely incapacitated.
How did you figure you were going to start a car company and be successful at it?
Well, I didn't really think Tesla would be successful. I thought we would most likely fail. But I thought that we at least could address the false perception that people had that an electric car had to be ugly and slow and boring like a golf cart.
But you say you didn't expect the company to be successful, then why try?
If something's important enough, you should try, even if the probable outcome is failure. I had so many people try to talk me out of starting a ride company. It was crazy.
What did they tell you?
One good friend of mine collected a whole series of videos of rockets blowing up and made me watch those. He just didn't want me to lose all my money. We were running on fumes at that point. We had virtually no money.
So a 4th failure...
A 4th failure would have been absolutely game over.
Done. SpaceX, bankrupt.
Yeah, it's bad enough to have 3 strikes. Having 4 strikes, it's really kaput. NASA called and told us that we'd won a $1.5 billion contract. And I couldn't even hold the phone. It's like, I just blurted out, I love you guys.
They saved you.
Yeah, they did.
Financially and maybe even emotionally.
I'll tell you what, that was definitely helpful. Yeah. I'd love to have SpaceX be the company that brings humanity to Mars, and I hope I see it while I'm still alive.
What is it about you that seems to invite skepticism?
Well, I think it's because we're doing these things that seem unlikely to succeed. And we've been fortunate, and at least thus far they have succeeded.
We are experiencing at this moment in time the turning point in man's reach for space, going from governments to private companies like yours.
I think we're at the dawn of a new era, and I think it's going to be very exciting. What we're hoping to do with SpaceX is to push the envelope and provide a reason for people to be excited and inspired to be human. It'll get people really excited, and that would recharge human space exploration. That was my original idea.
You just wanted to get people interested in space again?
Yes. Yeah.
Capture the imagination?
Yes. That was the idea.
Why even begin?
When something is important enough, you do it even if the odds are not in your favor.
How much of your personal fortune have you poured into this?
$100 million.
$100 million into something that you did not believe would work at the beginning.
Yes, I think it's important that humanity become a multi-planet species. I think most people would agree that a future where we're a spacefaring civilization is inspiring and exciting compared with one where we are forever confined to Earth until some eventual extinction event. You know, that's really why I started SpaceX.
Do you believe that your rocket will be the next American rocket to take an astronaut into space?
I believe that is the most likely outcome, yes.
There are people who've been in the rocketry business for decades who say about you that you don't know what you don't know. Well, I suppose that's true of anyone. How can anyone know what they don't know? But when critics say you can't do this, your answer to them is,
we've done it.
You know, there are American heroes who don't like this idea. Neil Armstrong, Gene Cernan have both testified against commercial spaceflight in the way that you're developing it, and I wonder what you think of that.
I was very sad to see that, because those guys are, those guys are heroes of mine, so it's really tough. You know, I wish they would come and visit and see the hardware that we're doing here. And I think that would change their mind.
They inspired you to do this, didn't they?
Yes.
And to see them casting stones in your direction.
It's difficult.
Did you expect them to cheer you on?
So they're hoping they would.
What are you trying to prove to them?
What I'm trying to do is to make a significant difference in spaceflight and help make spaceflight accessible to almost anyone. And I would hope for as much support in that direction as we can receive. Probably not the guy that most people would bet on.
Who wins?
It's like a little kid fighting a bunch of sumo wrestlers. Usually the sumo wrestlers win. We're a little scrappy company. Every now and again, a little scrappy company wins. And I think this will be one of those times.
Falcon Heavy is configured for flight.
T-minus 15, stand by for terminal count.
All right, guys. Final 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 2, 1.
Oh my God.
Do you see them both light up? That's unreal. There have to be reasons that you get up in the morning and you want to live. Like, why do you want to live? What's the point? What inspires you? What do you love about the future? And if we're not out there, if the future does not include being out there among the stars and being a multi-planet species, I find that it's incredibly depressing if that's not the future that we're going to have. The value of beauty and inspiration is very much underrated, no question. But I want to be clear, I'm not trying to be anyone's savior. That is not the... I'm just trying to think about the future and not be sad.
3, 2, 1.
Falcon 9 has cleared the tower.
First stage propulsion, healthy.
It's 1-2 off mode stages.
Propulsion is nominal. Nico.
The Falcon has landed. Impact ignition.